Alright, everybody. Today I found a Sonic fanfic that I'm pretty sure was written by someone who's never spoken to another human being before. I've not read this yet, so let's begin. Okay, how did we end up here in the first place? Sonic looked up from her at the floor with his sparkling emerald eyes. She was lost for a minute in those beautiful pools of green. He shrugged, not looking very concerned. Amy huffed. Oh, when I find out which friggin' dumbass shoved us in here, I'll... Amy ranted on, describing all the awful things she would do to the poor bastard that locked them in this cold freezer. Sonic just watched her. The small girl he remembered had turned into a gorgeous vixen with tempting curves. She, by now, had ditched that weird red dress she always wore. She eventually replaced it with a tight, low-cut pink tank top and black shorts. Even her fur had changed. The once neon pink fur had slowly changed to a darker pink, much easier to look at. The other shades sort of stung your eyes. Instead of cutting her hair short like she used to, she had to let it grow long so that it hung down to her mid-back. In Sonic's view, she was perfect. Sonic gradually stopped thinking of her as annoying. His thoughts went more along the lines of, let's just say, his mind spends a lot of time in the gutters when it comes to thinking of Amy. Her attitude could use some work, though, Sonic thought to himself. And if he's still alive, I'll castrate him with a knife. Wait, a rusty knife. Then I'll shove his balls up his ass and throw him in a meat grinder. Amy, halfway through her rant, had realized that the culprit was most likely Tails or Shadow. Sonic rolled his eyes, knowing that they were all empty threats. The worst she would do was beat them with her hammer or something. She glanced at him. Aren't you gonna do anything? Amy asked, a little calmer after leaking her spleen. Sonic shrugged. Oh, that's a big help. Of course, all the people to get locked up in the freezer with, it's you, Mr. Shrugs-a-lot. Sonic shrugged. Amy seethed. Basement. Amy looked at him. What? It's a freezer. In the basement. Amy crossed her arms. Stop being so childish. Childish? Who's childish? Nobody's childish. Sonic stuck his tongue out at her. Damn it, I'm so childish, but I'm sure as hell not admitting it to her, even if she kind of has boobs. Damn it, Sonic, fight the boobs. You can't do it. Sonic thought. As the thoughts ran through his head, Amy examined the hedgehog in front of her. Okay, maybe not quite in front, a little off to the side. Sonic hadn't changed at all, except maybe he was an inch taller. An inch. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Though, he had started wearing clothes since the age of 16. Currently, he was wearing a white t-shirt, a warm-looking zipper vest, and a pair of medium-tight pants, which were black. His quills were slicked back, the way he liked them, with a few of Rug's strands. He was like 19. You would think that he could break the door down, but he didn't. A part of him wanted to be alone with Amy. What a bunch of cheesy bullshit. Amy huffed and sat on the floor. What's the point of this room anyway? It's empty. No one puts anything in here. It's friggin' damn cold. Sonic was probably looking at her boobs. Wear a jacket, Sonic said, his eyes strictly focused on the floor. Oh, that's just fine and dandy. Did you think of where I'm gonna go and get a damn jacket? We're locked in here. If I had wanted a damn jacket, I could have just left. But no, the stupid evil door, that's obviously the spawn of Satan, won't open. Amy panted. Tired from her rant, she hadn't realized it, but halfway through, she had stood up. In the process, she had subconsciously shook her fist at the said spawn of Satan. She slowly slid herself back to the ground. Damn, she's on a roll. She's sexy when she's angry. Fight the boobs. God damn, Sonic, fight the boobs. See, the reason Sonic isn't speaking too much is because, frankly, he'll probably let something slip. This is a flashback. Hi, Sonic, Amy said as he came down for breakfast. Hi, Amy, I like your boobs. Sonic clamped his hands over his mouth. Amy looked at him funny. What? Sonic sighed with relief. She hadn't heard him, or did she? Amy started to shiver. She looked at Sonic again. He was simply sitting beside the door in his damn warm vest. Stupid warm vest. Sonic concentrated on something and was thinking hard. Give her the vest or boobs? Vest, boobs. Boobs, vest. Sonic unzipped his vest and started to take it off. Amy, by now, was in the fetal position. The room wasn't that cold at all, but for someone wearing a tank top and shorts, it's friggin' cold. Sonic shuffled over, fidgeting. He sat down next to her and carefully placed the vest over her shoulders. She shot him a searching glance. He shrugged. If you're still cold, we can use body heat, Sonic suggested. Smack! Amy glared. Pervert! Sonic's head was spinning from the ferocious slap. Ow! Sonic sat, looking dazed and confused. A rather amusing look was pinned on his face. Amy tried to stifle a giggle. Sonic gave her a lopsided grin that made him look funnier. Amy couldn't take it anymore. She laughed. Her laugh was the kind of laugh that made goths smile. Not that goths don't smile. It just makes them smile more. It was like a finely tuned concert piano. It was like vanilla ice cream, smooth and soft. Okay, that sucked, but you get the point. Anyway, when she laughed, her breasts heaved upwards. Sonic was speechless, and he had a faint blush gracing his cobalt face. He bit his lips slightly, trying to avoid thinking about his slowly but surely tightening pants. She was rolling on the ground at this point, and Sonic decided to turn away because the sight of her on the ground, hair splayed under her, was kind of giving him problems in his lower regions. For some reason, the sight of Sonic turning around made Amy laugh harder. Any time now, Sonic thought, irritated and horny. Amy finally managed to stop laughing. Sonic turned around and raised his eyebrows. Amy smiled. It was a nice smile. Her teeth were like pearls. Wait, that sounds weird. Someone with pearl teeth. Meh. So, anyway, her teeth were pearl white. What was so funny? Sonic looked confused. Amy smiled knowingly. You were funny. Sonic looked offended at this comment. What? Are my quills dull? Am I like fat or something? Do I have something on my face? Not like that, you retard. Sonic huffed. You didn't have to use such a harsh word. Amy laughed. Sonic shook his head in defeat. Amy suddenly realized exactly how cold it still was. She smacked her forehead. She had forgotten all about the damn vest of warmness. She grabbed the vest and put it on. Slowly, she zipped it up. Sonic didn't know if she did it deliberately or not. He just thought she was onto him. And the peaking thing, hormones, damn them. Damn them to hell. Sonic really hated them sometimes. Amy felt warmer, but the vest only supplied her upper body with warmth. Sonic observed once more. She still looked cold. Are you cold? Sonic asked coolly. Amy looked up at him, a mocking grin on her face. No, I'm just diddly-widdly fine. Thanks for asking. Sonic frowned. I'm cold, you thick-headed. She was cut off as she felt something pressed against her lip. Her eyes widened as she blinked to make sure she was seeing what she thought she saw. The blue, idiotic, moderately sexy Sir Shrugs-a-Lot was kissing her. He was kneeling in front of her and kissing her. The most damn annoying and surprising part was that she liked it. His eyes were closed, breaking her view of those gorgeous green eyes. She hesitated before kissing back. She had no stinking idea what the hell she was doing, but meh. The kiss was rather soft, with no open mouth shit. But then it started to get heated. Sonic gently ran his tongue over the bottom of her lip, and she obligingly allowed him entrance. His tongue battled with hers, gently running along the side. Amy let out a moan. Sonic grunted in response. Somehow, they had ended up against the wall. Sonic's back to the wall with Amy sitting in his lap. Amy had no clue how long they had been kissing, but she was quite aware that Sonic's arms were wrapped around her waist, and she was bending back into his chest to reach his mouth. Sonic's taste was unique. It was like cream or something like that. Whatever it was, she loved it. Amy was sort of like strawberries. Interesting how people somehow taste different, like different flavors of ice cream. Anyway, they finally broke the kiss because air was becoming an issue. They panted, lips slightly swollen, their mouths still tingled from the kiss. Sonic and Amy just kind of awkwardly split up and then sat down beside each other at a reasonable distance. There was a silence. Amy didn't know what had come over her, and Sonic was hoping that they would do it again, or at least she would take off the vest. Amy suddenly laughed. Sonic couldn't help but join in. After they stopped, Sonic glanced at her. "Why were you laughing?" Amy smiled knowingly. "And this entire time I thought you were into guys." Sonic looked as if he had something in his mouth. He would spit it out. You know, people like sip coffee and then someone tells them something shocking, they spit it out. This guy fucking sucks at talking. Anyway, the look on his face was so funny. Amy couldn't help but laugh again. What made you think that?" Sonic sputtered. "Well, ever since Shadow turned up, you followed him around like he's your best friend. You guys do everything together, and you stay home together when the rest of us go shopping," Amy pointed out. "We were playing games for your information. It's called a Wii O." Sonic realized the mistake he had unwittingly made. Amy broke into fits of laughter. "I'm sure you two enjoy playing with each other's Wiis." What the fuck? Amy managed to say before breaking into laughter. Sonic silently cursed Nintendo for making a console that was subject to many penis jokes. What the fuck, dude? Nintendo. Nintendo Wii, damn it. Sonic growled. "I still think you guys would make a cute couple. It's never too late." Amy giggled as Sonic pretended to barf. "You read too many of those yaoi fanficky thingies." Sonic huffed. "Oh, really?" Amy playfully pushed Sonic. "Actually, I'm the author of 13 Sonadal fics." Sonic stared at her horrified. Amy burst into another fit of giggles. "We have to talk about that when we get out of here." Sonic growled. "They're all filled with hot, steamy, mind-blowing sex, too." Sonic gasped again. "And you're always on the bottom." "I'm not listening, la 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 la." "Real mature." "Mature? Who's the one writing stories about me having sex with Shadow?" Sonic protested. "Did I mention sometimes it's Knuckles?" "Oh, God, the images, the mental images." Sonic clutched his head. Amy shook her head. "You know you like men." Amy grinned. Sonic glared at her and stood up. She mirrored him and stood up. "Who was making out with me a couple minutes ago?" Sonic Sonic snapped. "Oh, I think someone's getting angry." Amy teased. "I'm not in love with any men, god damn it, Amy." Sonic was almost pleading her. Almost. "Is that a confession?" Amy laughed. She was clearly enjoying this a lot more than she should be. "No, it's not." Sonic growled. "If I liked men, would I do this?" Amy looked confused. "Do what you..." She cut herself off as she noticed that Sonic was suddenly very close. The same intoxicating scent came wafting up her nose. Her cheeks were tinted with red, but it was not noticeable because of her darker and more mature shade of pink. Their noses were touching by now. "Sonic?" Amy said, looking into his eyes. Once again, she was captured by his stunning eyes. He leaned in closer and captured her lips once more. It wasn't soft. It was hungry. Both were responding with equal passion and hunger. Sonic didn't even need to ask for admittance. Her tongue was already waiting for round two. It was Amy's turn to be against the wall. They were pressed close together, breaking up for air whenever it was sorely needed. Sonic, quite sneakily I might add, placed his hands on her rump. Her eyes opened in surprise, but then closed once again. They snapped open again when Sonic gently squeezed her ass, making her squeal and break off. All right, I cannot do this anymore. That's where I'm going to be stopping today. So if you enjoyed watching my brain melt, please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.